my whole childhood. I played hockey, basketball, every single sport that you can name. And it got to a point to where all of my friends were playing hockey. All of my weekend, all of my time, it was playing hockey, right? But all of these kids, they were nothing what I wanted to be like. And I was in the situation of like, I don't like hockey. I don't like these sports. Why wouldn't I just continue to work on myself? And this was, as I was getting into the gym, I said, I'm going to drop everything. I'm going to go into the gym and all in on myself because I don't want to be like these kids. I don't want to, perform like these. I want to be able to work on myself every single day. People with vacations and lunch breaks and what days off you can take. There's so many people that love being told what to do and having this exact schedule. Now that works. But when is there going to be a time to where you actually get to improve you? You can't even call yourself an individual if you're always working. You come home from work and you watch all these people playing sports. The sports are always going to be there. The TV is always going to be there. But do you think that 20 years down the road, you're going to regret working on yourself? Do you think you're going to regret eating healthy? Because I can tell you right now, somebody who's 200 pounds right now and 250 in 10 years, they're not going to be happy that they weren't in shape and that they weren't working on themselves. The time's going to pass whether you like it or not. And it's up to you to decide what you actually want to do with your time, right? It's not like you're going to regret working on yourself. It's not like you're going to regret taking action on yourself and kind of individualizing yourself from everybody else. Like, it's not normal to work on yourself. It's not normal to eat healthy in today's society. I was talking to one of my clients, and in his work, the only celebrations that they have is for Taco Tuesday, is for Donut Monday, is for Pizza Friday. It's like, come on, why do we have to celebrate food in this society? Why can't we celebrate accomplishments? Why can't we make it a challenge at work to see who can lose the most weight? Why can't we make it a challenge at work to see, who can be the most productive, who can be the most consistent in the gym, who can work on themselves the most? Why not, instead of just trying to work for all these other people and trying to impress them all the time, why not work on improving yourself, getting a promotion in your job, making an impact on somebody else's life? That's why I believe that, being a lawyer, working at a cash register, even like playing in the NBA or playing in the NHL, like, it's cool, right? You're providing some sort of service, whatever job you're in, you're providing value, you're providing entertainment. That's why I believe that what I do is the best thing in the entire world. It's because being young, I get to literally take people to age who are, 3-4 times my, not 4, but, 3.5 times my age, and literally change their life, right? I literally get to say, like, okay, if somebody was gonna live to like 80 or 90, or like 70 or 80, now they can live to like 80 or 90, right? Like, it literally, I had a client recently, his name's Stellan. He is down 80 pounds on my program. I think I've talked to him in a past video, but like, I was like, maybe he was down like 40 last time I talked about him, but 80 pounds, like, are you shitting me? That is adding a good, 20 years on his life, 15 years on his life. 80 pounds, he'll be down like 100 soon. It's crazy what you can do when you actually separate yourself from the other things that are going on in your life and all these other distractions that are going on. America and society these days, they don't want you to be fit. They don't want you to be jacked. 20% of our society, 20% is a member at a gym. Is 20% in shape? Does the 49, 45 at least percent of America obese? Fucking crazy. 45% is obese. But when are you going to realize that separating yourself from the crowd and working on yourself is the most fulfilling thing in the world? That's why I believe that me literally taking somebody from point A to point B, when Stellan came to me, he was not at all the man that he is today. He was unconfident, he was unmotivated, he had this fire in his belly that he knew in the back of his mind that he needed to do something, and I was the one that really took him over the edge by putting him in a group of like-minded individuals, giving himself something that he can stay consistent with for the rest of his life, that he's actually going to enjoy, and coming up with a realistic plan by building habits rather than having a specific regimen. That was the way that he, then invested into himself and went forward with it. All right. I am like, this is like not to flex, but like for my age, I am literally in the top like 0.01% of people, in terms of like, what I'm doing, what I make, like compared to all those other kids that I was talking about, like, and it's crazy what you can do when you separate yourself from the crowd. I can't wait. 6 months down the road, a year down the road, when I'm even more successful, to talk about, holy shit, like this is how far we've come. This is what we've actually been able to do over the course of it. But over all these different things, if you're just doing the same thing as everybody else, if you're always just working for somebody else rather than separating yourself, working on yourself, improving yourself, there's no possible way for you to actually be an individual. There's a reason why when somebody's in shape, there's a reason why when somebody's confident, when they go up in public speak, when they get a promotion, everybody respects them. Everybody wants to ask them, how do you do this? How do you act like this? How do you, go about your day like this? It's because they have actually developed themselves as an individual. And the thing with fitness is that 24/7, I get to walk around lean. 24/7, I get to walk around confident and high energy because I focus on myself with the habits that I actually do. And all of the people who do the scrolling, who do the shitty food, right? The donuts at work, the pizza at work, that's very, very quick dopamine. That's quick gratification that is gone like that. But when you build a physique, when you build a mindset, when you build discipline, you get to use that in all aspects of your life. All aspects. The confidence goes into you talking with new people. The confidence goes into, job interviews and getting promotions and, surrounding yourself with new people. It's crazy what you can do when you stop, when you drop the vices, when you drop the things that are holding you back and understand that the time is literally going to pass. And, improving yourself in where you're at in your journey, that's the best way to go about things. Literally just by taking action and going out and doing something that you've never done before, separating yourself from the crowd, that's how you're actually able to get this done. My whole childhood, I was obsessed with Legos. I was obsessed with Pokemon cards. I was obsessed with scootering and all those different things. It would always be like, watching YouTube videos and learning as much as I possibly could about those topics and becoming as good as I possibly could. Now, all those only lasted like 6 months to 2 years, anywhere between that. And I got really, 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 really good and obsessed at those things. But I realized one day that it's not actually going to benefit me. It's not actually going to make me better. It's the same thing as all those people who you see like so focused on fantasy football and, sports in general and sports betting. I'm like, that doesn't benefit you at all. Why not put that time and effort into things that are actually going to make you better? Why not put that time and effort into something that's actually going to benefit you years down the road? Understand that the time is going to pass whether you like it or not. And it is up to you to actually decide what you want to do with this time to put yourself in the best position possible. But the way that you're actually going to be able to get this done is by giving yourself something that you can stay consistent with for the foreseeable future and the rest of your life, right? Because what the hell is even the point in doing anything? What's the point in coming up with any sort of routine or anything if you can't stay consistent with it? But the only way that you're going to do this is by building the habits, not by tracking calories, not by going crazy with what you're doing. It's by simply giving yourself something that you can stay consistent with for the rest of your life. And if you want to stay consistent with something for the rest of your life without tracking calories, without, all the BS, just building your habits, book a call with me down below in the description and we'll see if you're a good fit, or I'll see if you're a good fit. And so let's get it.